This Friday, the big matchup is between Mount Airy and East Surrey and Pilot Mountain. The Granite Bears are the defending state champions and beat North Surrey last week 58-0. Mount Airy is the number one ranked team in the state for 1A football. East Surrey has had a long string of big-time success, including a state title in 2019 and deep runs in the playoffs in other recent seasons, including last year. Here's what Mount Airy coach J.K. Atkins had to say about this Friday's game.
Do you feel like you got your work cut out for you next game?
Oh, sure. This has been a top program in the state for going on 5-6 years now. So they deserve all our respect and attention. We're going to treat this thing kind of like a playoff type atmosphere, and I think our guys will be dialed in beginning on Monday.
East Surrey coach Trent Lohman chatted with me this week and had the following to say about last week's 40-6 loss to number 3 Robbinsville on the road in this upcoming week's game against Mount Airy and Pilot Mountain. We're looking forward to opening up David H. Diamond Stadium this fall with Mount Airy. Our guys have had a good week of practice and realized Friday some things we need to improve on. I'm excited about the growth I expect and know this team can make. We have to get better, and we will. We'll keep getting better week by week as long as we keep the right mindset. Coach Lohman said earlier this season that Mount Airy has speed all over the field, including their great running game. Tickets are being sold for the Mount Airy versus East Surrey game this Thursday and Friday during school hours at East Surrey High School in Pilot Mountain, so get your tickets now. Mount Airy versus East Surrey will be broadcast live on WPAQ 740 AM, 106.7 FM, and WIFM 100.9. The radio stations are our broadcasting partners, so be sure to tune in live. Here at Surrey on the Go, we will re-air the Mount Airy versus East Surrey game on video each night from Monday, August 28th to Sunday, September 3rd at 8 p.m. Now let's talk about Elkin football. Elkin defeated North Wilkes last Friday in convincing fashion, 28-8. And they will head to Millers Creek this Friday night to play West Wilkes. Let's hear what Coach Scott Wood had to say about that. Coach Scott Wood, congratulations on Elkin's win on Friday night. How do you feel about that?
I was very, very pleased with their defensive performance. They did a great job, and stopping the team that we had trouble stopping last year was a big pick me up for our defense. So we're tickled with their progress. Kids played extremely hard. We still got some execution things to work on, but they played hard, so that's half the battle.
Right. Yeah, you were talking about last year. The game we're talking about was this past Friday night, August 18th, against North Wilkes. Elkin won 28-8. And the game last year you're referring to, Elkin lost 44-14.
Oh, yeah. Let's don't talk about that anymore. But the defense played much better.
Much better. Okay. I was about to ask you what you thought the main differences this year compared to last year were.
I would attribute the differences to our kids being a year older, a year stronger. And, I mean, this is the third year a lot of these kids have played varsity football. They're now juniors. So we had to play some of them as freshmen and sophomores. So they're growing up, they're getting stronger, and playing on the level they probably should be on now.
Great. And what are you guys going to be focused on this week in practice as you prepare for West Wilkes on Friday?
We have to work on especially our offensive line play. Still an area that needs improvement, and assignments on defense. Sometimes we had some assignment letdowns. So middle part of the game and getting after it on the offensive line.
Well, I guess with the team winning 28-8, you did fairly well on offense as well, right?
Yes, but we can do better than what we did Friday night.
Okay.
Defense put us in some good positions. I think if you're looking for a storyline of the game, I think we blocked 4 punts during that game.
Wow.
So we stress special teams quite a bit, and we're tickled with that progress. Blocking 4 punts, that puts you off in a good position, and short field's always easier to score on.
any expectations you have going into this game against West Wilkes, which is on the road at Millers Creek?
We just want to be physical and play hard and play fast. That's always our expectation.
Okay.
And try to eliminate some mistakes.
Right. What can you tell us about the West Wilkes team so the folks who are watching know?
It looks like they have some big linemen, and we got to be able to handle that on the offensive and the defensive side of the football.
Big linemen on offense and defense, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, about how far is Millers Creek from Elkin?
It's probably 45 minutes in a bus. Not that bad.
Anything you want to say to encourage anyone to come out to that game on the road Friday night?
We always appreciate the support. We have a great student section. Showed out in full force for this past Friday night's game. And our kids love them. Football players love the student section. The student section loves the football team, band. It's just one big happy family at Elkin, and we love it because they stick with each other, win or lose.
Anything else you want to say about the football team heading into this Friday?
That's all.
Now let's talk about Surrey Central football. Surrey Central lost on the road at Allegheny last Friday by a score of 41-18. The Golden Eagles host East Wilkes this Friday night in Dobson. Let's chat with Coach Monty Southern about that. Coach Monty Southern, thank you for joining us on Surrey on the Go. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Nathan. I hope you are.
Good. Yes, sir. Just wanted to talk with you about Friday night's game against Allegheny. They won 41-18. Could you give us a summary of what happened in the game?
Yeah. It was it's always a great atmosphere at Allegheny. It's a beautiful stadium. They had just got new field turf. That was the first game on it. I think it's actually it had been installed so recently they had not actually had a practice on it either. So we were playing literally on a brand new surface with nice weather compared to what we've been having down here in the flat ground. And like I say, just a picturesque stadium. Unfortunately, we did not play nearly as well as they did. We knew they were a good team going in. I thought they had a really solid first game, not mistake free, but like I say, I thought it was really solid. They had a good game plan. Their kids did a good job carrying it out. I felt like did not play well, not nearly as well as I hoped. We also had several critical errors that I think set them up for some success.
Right. Okay. Tell me specifically what you thought your team's strengths and weaknesses were on offense and defense. Start with offense first.
Sure. Well, I thought we ran the ball fairly well at times. We had our leading rusher was Alan Huffman. He had just over 100 yards on 12 carries. So that's pretty good productivity. Probably a notion that, hey, coach, you might want to get him the ball a little bit more. But at other times we were very inconsistent. Passing game was not as efficient as I'd like for it to be. Our completion percentage was under 50. And I think in high school, you're probably not going to throw as well as the NFL guys do and be up to 70, 80% completion, but we do want to be above 50. We were under 50. We did have one interception, and we also lost a fumble on offense. Also, we had a couple of critical errors in the kicking game. We had a punt where we didn't have a good snap and ended up not getting that punt off. And we also had a fumble on the kickoff return. So, like I said, I thought Allegheny played great, but we certainly didn't help ourselves out by taking care of the ball.
Okay. Strengths and weaknesses for Surrey Central on defense.
Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job of giving effort of getting to the ball. First game, you're going to miss some tackles, you're going to miss some assignments. But overall, I thought our team pursuit, aggressiveness level, I thought was pretty good. I'd say the biggest weakness we had was they presented us with a few different formations. There was multiple times that we did not get lined up correctly. Had some guys on the wrong side of the ball or some guys at too deep of a depth, guys that wasn't sure who they had in coverage, those type things. And in the long run, they end up getting some big plays off of those mental mistakes.
Right. And to be fair to your team, Allegheny is predicted to have a good year this year, correct?
I think so. I mean, like I say, we saw them in a scrimmage. Now we've played against them. Like I say, I think they're a really solid team. Running back's really good. Quarterback's an exceptional athlete. They're not huge up front, but they're also not small. I mean, they're pretty good sized kids. They get after you pretty good. So I mean, you never know what the rest of the season will hold. Of course, in high school football, you never know what injuries you may come across, but I suspect that they will have a pretty successful season.
Strengths and weaknesses you mentioned, especially the weaknesses. What are you guys going to do this week in practice to get ready for this upcoming week to ensure those weaknesses improve?
Yeah, Nathan, I tell you, I had a football coach I used to work with a long time ago that said the most improvement you're going to see in the season is from week 1 to week 2. And I've always kind of followed that, and I not to say that you can't be great in week 1. I know some teams come out all cylinders firing, but we definitely were not that Friday night. And one thing we've talked to our guys about is just to continue to stay mentally tough and believe in yourselves, because we feel like we've got a pretty good team. We just did not play well this past Friday. Actually, I told them at the goalpost that I felt like we were a better football team than that, and that this Friday we'd have opportunity to show that. And I think that's the great thing about football. Some sports you might have to play the very next day, and it's hard to bounce back sometimes. But football, you get a whole nother week. It's going to be a different game plan because you're going to be playing a different opponent, and you got a little bit of time to kind of refocus and regroup and get ready to go out and go at it again.
And Coach Southern, if you'll tell us about this coming Friday's opponent here in Dobson.
Yeah, we play East Wilkes. They're coming off a win, big win really for them. They played West Wilkes week 1, and that's a pretty big rivalry. Of course, it's an in-county game, and they were on the road. They were at West Wilkes, so that's one thing. They've got a pretty young team. They've got a first-year head coach, and I know from back when I started like that, sometimes it's hard to win on the road. It's almost like a little bit of a learning process. And they went out and did it week 1 against the county rival. So we expect them to come in here and be fired up and ready to go. And we know we're going to see their best game. And like I said, I just hope that we can make those corrections and find some confidence in ourselves and put a better product on the field Friday night.
Right. And for anyone coming out to the game on Friday night, what should folks expect to see out of that East Wilkes team?
I'll tell you, Nathan, they run the ball really well. I mean, it's a triple option based offense, and they've got multiple guys that run the ball really well. Defensively, like I said, they do have a first year head coach in Travis Walker, but he has been their defensive coordinator for the past several years, and so he's an aggressive guy. He likes to come after people. I'm sure they're going to try to come and hit us right in the mouth early, and see if we can find that confidence or not. We want to get it back. I'm sure they want to keep it away as long as they can. So I think you'll see a really aggressive team. Like I say, they're a fairly young team, but they look to have a little speed. And they look to have some pretty talented kids.
Anything you want to say to the folks in Surry County, encouraging them to come out to the game Friday night?
Yeah, absolutely. We just always love to have folks at our games. It brings a whole nother layer of energy for our kids on the sideline. I always say, in Dobson on a Friday night, there's not a whole lot going on. So if there's a football game, that's probably where you ought to be. But we do encourage anybody in our communities that has a chance to come out. These kids have been working hard. Like I say, it's a hot day today. We're going to be out there sweating in it, and they've put in a lot of work, and all the support we get from the stands, we just really appreciate it.
This past Friday, North Surry lost to Mount Airy 58-0. But this Friday, we'll host South Stokes, who lost their first game of the season last week, 56-14 to West Stokes. South Stokes running back Deuce Chalmers is a player to watch. He rushed for nearly 1,000 yards last season. But North Surry has a good running game as well, so that will be a game to watch closely. North Surry coach Jackson Smith said after last week's game at Mount Airy that he and his staff would work with the team this week to improve. And to close out the show, we will put this week's games and their kickoff times on the screen. Be sure to head out Friday night and support Surry County's football teams. Remember to share this video on Facebook and Twitter, where you should also follow us for our latest videos. Download and watch us on Roku, Roku TV, Fire Stick, Fire TV, Apple TV, smartphones, tablets, and computers. And watch us on Spectrum Cable Channel 1300 and Surry Communications Cable Channel 7. Thanks for watching.